This fundraiser is for the purchase of new marching band uniforms. The Pride of Connecticut has had their current uniforms since 2008, going on 17 years, and while we're so grateful and thankful to an amazing student body for maintaining them all these years, the natural nature of uniforms like this, they break down over time. And so this is a generational purchase, but one we're really excited about. The current uniforms are going on 17 years, and the industry standard for uniforms with marching bands these days is about 10 years, give or take a couple. And so we're several years over the average, but I've heard from a lot of folks that they can't tell from far away, which is good. But the nature of these is that as you get closer, you start to notice that fabrics just wear out over time. And so they're really coming due. But our students have done an amazing job at maintaining them. Our service organizations, our band fraternity and sorority have taken on a huge role in measuring out, hemming, sewing, collecting, washing the uniforms year to year. And so part of it is the resilience and the work of our student body to take on that burden of maintaining these uniforms.
Primarily when we're talking about uniform repair, there are about like 3 or 4 general areas. First and foremost, buttons. There are cape buttons, there are cummerbund buttons, and then there are jacket buttons along the back zipper. So when I talk about button repair, usually it is that buttons will sometimes fall off. We tend to also have to do a lot of hemming. So a lot of our uniforms range in the like 220, 250 pound size range, and then anywhere from about 70 to 72 inches, that's where the bulk of our uniform sizes weigh. There were a few members this year that had uniforms that were 70 pounds over their weight, and they were swimming in their uniforms. On the actual game day itself, we rely on safety pins a lot of the time. Not only do buttons fall off, but zippers also fall off as well, and it's not just the fabric of the zipper falling off the uniform, it's actually the metal piece of the zipper that brings the teeth together that will pop off because, again, the metal is worn and it doesn't want to stay. The cummerbund that sits on our stomachs, it's worn away on a lot of them in the middle, whether just because that's when members might rest their instruments when they're playing, that's where the bass drum harnesses will go. That's where, if you're putting your horn down, that's where you might put it. And just because of erosion and just tension or whatever over time, it's just gotten worn away.
I think it's often said in sometimes a joking way that the band is the heartbeat of UConn in the sense of its musical contributions, but more than anything, it's the spirit of the university. It embodies everything that's great about the university and its people, because it's made up of people. It presents both a unified image on the field of this large group of individuals in uniform presenting an image, but each part of that image is an individual person with a background and life story. And so I think that's a microcosm of UConn. It's a lot of great people, each of whom has a great background story. How the university benefits is, one, having its own students exhibiting that spirit and pride at athletic events, at municipal events, at state events. The university benefits by having it from a recruiting standpoint. We're representing the university as an ambassador. And there's just an element of live music and performance that, especially post-COVID, I think we're all longing for. We're longing to see live musicians and people making art. And so from a cultural perspective, I just think we add so much to any location or performance or venue where we happen to be. So the benefits are kind of layered, both internally for us as a community, but externally too to the state and the nation.
Coming into preseason and knowing that you're in a college band at a D1 school is such a huge deal to so many of our members, especially because they marched in marching bands themselves in high school and watched the UCMB from the high school level. So they know how big this organization is, they know how visible it is, they know what a big deal it is to be in the UCMB. Because we were so short on uniforms that would fit people properly, I had a lot of members that were getting fit for their uniform for the first time, especially new members. They'd step into it and they'd be like, this is what I get. So immediately it's just, this is my uniform for the whole year. This is what I have to march in. This is what I have to figure out how to play in, how to present myself in. It's a whole beast to figure out how to be in this marching band first and foremost, but then also figuring out how to play your music and march your show on top of that. That's an additional challenge that sometimes members don't really want to think of, and they shouldn't have to think of. New crisp uniforms that are actually navy blue and white, the actual colors of the university, not this lackluster, like purplish blue that we have right now. I think that would bring a new energy to the band itself as we go to perform, but then also the audiences that we perform for.
This is one of those projects where literally every dollar, every cent makes a difference. I know some folks, myself included, sometimes I get those emails asking for funds and support. Whether it's a large gift or a few dollars, every single dollar helps here, because every dollar in gift gets us one step closer to outfitting our band with new uniforms. Certainly, I think all of us, as an alum myself, would agree that the band, as I mentioned, is always deserving of looking their best, representing the university in the best way possible. And so every gift is another sign of support from our community and way that we're connected to our community, kind of a mutual act of service. So the timeline for this project will be continuing the design process throughout this calendar year. We're hoping to get our design forwarded to our vendor by the end of 2025, with the uniforms in hand and on students running out of the tunnel at the Rent in the fall of 2026. On behalf of the entire Pride of Connecticut, our students, our staff, and the entire UConn community, thank you so much for considering our project. This is something that will benefit generations of band members for years to come. For more information, you can visit our website at band.uconn.edu or give us a call at 860-486-2165. Thank you so much.